Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Backyard Buckets. Today, as you saw by the title and thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Hawks and what they need to do to just get better. Also going to be going to be looking at their season so far, looking at some stats, trying to determine what the problem is, because they are currently 11-16. Started off like 4-1. They started off really well, and they have not done well since whatsoever. They're 10th in the East currently, so they are in the play-in game, but the Eastern Conference is nowhere near as good as the Western Conference this year. I mean, the 1 seed in the East would be the 4 seed in the Western Conference's Pacific Division this year. That's how much better you could say that the West is. But before we get started, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It'll really help us out. We're trying to hit 1.5K by the end of April. Also, the like in the video helps it out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, let's go. So the Hawks are obviously led by the guy in the background right now, Trae Young. Looking at his stats so far this season, he's averaging 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. So very good numbers so far from Trae. He is only shooting the ball 42% from the field and 36% from 3, though. I mean, those are decent numbers, but for the guy that's supposed to be carrying this team to the playoffs, supposed to be their superstar, I mean, I know he's still really young. The guy's 22 years old. It's his 3rd season in the NBA. By no means, I mean, am I expecting him to be the best player in the NBA? But he does take a lot of shots. His play style has been criticized by some, including Steve Nash, who was his role model growing up. So that'd be kind of sad if you're Trae Young to find out that your role model does not like the way that you play the game. But still, Trae Young having a very good season so far. I mean, 26 points, 9 assists. Can't go wrong with that. Next up is a guy that has been involved in some trade rumors, I guess you could say. The Hawks are open to moving him if the price is right. He has had a very good season so far, at least statistically speaking, averaging 19 points, 7.5 rebounds, and an assist and a half per game, shooting the ball 54% from the field and 41% from 3. So really good numbers there from John Collins. Seems like he's really worked on his 3-point game, and it's showing off. But with kind of the Hawks organization, there's kind of this like, I don't know, it's almost like a tension inside of that organization, but John Collins is no longer untouchable. I don't know why. I mean, I think teams are giving up on players way too fast these days. The dude's 23 years old. He's been on the team for like 4 years, and I don't understand why they can't just be patient and let their core grow. I mean, their 3 leading scorers are 23, 22, and 22. Wait, I take that back. 23, 23, and 22, with Trae being the youngest. And the next guy we're going to be talking about, Deandre Hunter, who is currently hurt right now. He is out for about 2 weeks, I believe was the timeline on his injury. But he had been having a very good season, almost a breakout year for him in his 2nd year in the NBA, averaging 17 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting the ball 51% from the field and 37% from 3. So we knew he could shoot the 3 ball. He shot the 3 ball pretty well at Virginia, but then this year, just shooting really well from the field, over 50%, and averaging 17 points, which is a big-time sophomore jump for him. And that's good for the Hawks because it gives him kind of a 3rd guy. He's really good at defense. That's one of his main characteristics, I guess you could say. Pretty good wing defender. So good for the Hawks, good for him. Next guy we're going to talk about is somebody that the Hawks acquired last year, I believe, at the trade deadline. It is Clint Capela. He's averaging 14 points and 14 rebounds. So pretty dominant in the paint when it comes to rebounding is Clint Capela. Also lob threat, can catch it and dunk it over the top of the defense. He's also averaging about 1 assist per game, shooting the ball 57% from the field. He has not attempted a 3 this season, but still 14 and 14 for Clint Capela. It's a pretty good stat line, especially from a veteran center that you picked up for pretty cheap at the deadline last year. Next guy, Kevin Herter, the backcourt guy, or the backcourt duo, I guess you could say, for Trae Young. He's averaging 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists this year. Decent shooting numbers, 42% from the field, 39% from 3, so I guess it's pretty good 3-point percentage. Not the greatest field goal percentage, though. And I guess it's because he takes a lot of threes. That's the main part of his game, probably. Or at least in my opinion. And he's been pretty good for him this year. He's still very young as well. At only 22, this Hawks team is insanely young. I mean, Capela is only 26, and he's the youngest guy by far of their 5 leading scorers. Speaking of youth, 21-year-old Cam Reddish is having a really good season, at least a really good sophomore season. 11.5 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist and a half per game, although his shooting numbers are pretty much garbage. He's shooting 37% from the field and 26% from 3. So any basketball fan knows that those are not the greatest when it comes to shooting percentages. Next up, we're going to be talking about some of their off-season free agent signings. First, Danilo Gallinari, who they signed away from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it was a pretty sizable contract. This year, he's given them 11 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist per game off the bench, shooting the ball 42% from the field and 38% from 3, so not a bad bench piece to have. This is a pretty good, solid top 8 that the Hawks have. The 7 we've already mentioned, and then the next guy we're going to talk about, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who came over from the Sacramento Kings in free agency. Obviously, the Kings did not want to match the offer sheet that the Hawks signed with him. So far, it's looking like not the worst decision in the world. Obviously, there was the trade to Milwaukee that was already decided upon. I thought it was a pretty bad trade in terms of for the Kings at least, but apparently he wanted to walk. They weren't going to get him back, so they just let Atlanta sign him, and he's averaging, like I said, 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, only shooting the ball 39% from the field and 36% from 3. So Bogdanovic, pretty sure he's coming off the bench, so those aren't the worst bench numbers, actually pretty good, but they gave him a lot of money. I don't know if they want him coming off the bench and only giving him 10 points a game when you got people like Kevin Herter, who's probably making like at least $15 million less, I'd say, averaging 2 more points than him on 3 percentage points better or higher. But with that being said, that is going to be it for today's video. So make sure to like and subscribe. It'll really help the video out in the YouTube algorithm if you like it. Also subscribing, like I said, trying to hit 1.5K by the end of April. If you like March Madness, if you like college basketball, this is the place to be for March Madness. We're helping everybody out with their brackets. And with that being said, thank you for watching.